Welcome to the Lake Show, where you can find out what's going on and in and around the lake. This show is brought to you by the Fort Loudoun Lake Association, a nonprofit environmental conservation organization that keeps Fort Loudoun Lake safe, clean, and fun. I'm Angela Howard, the Executive Director of Fort Loudoun Lake Association, and I work with zone managers and an in-house scientist who remove trash and debris daily, educate our community on pollution prevention, and monitor stormwater and the health of our streams. And one of the things we do at Fort Loudoun Lake Association that we really love is we have some very vibrant volunteer programs. And I have with me today Greta, who has come on board with the Fort Loudoun Lake Association as our volunteer coordinator. And she came from Michigan, and she's going to tell us what brought her here to Knoxville.
Well, kind of a whim a little bit. Just researching the area. It has a lot of different recreational activities which interest myself, so that just kind of, hey, let's go.
That's key, yeah. And I know that when you worked out west, I believe?
Yep, I worked out in Montana for about 2 years with the Montana Conservation Corps, and so that kind of just opened my eyes to the nonprofit sector and like conservation work, and so that's kind of why I'm here for the Fort Loudoun Lake Association.
That's perfect. So what did you do out there in a volunteer situation in Montana?
Well, it was a AmeriCorps service term for 2 years, so basically you're a volunteer to begin with. And I set up like my own volunteer organization program. It was a service day project, and I worked with a small community called Lockwood in Montana, and I collaborated with the Fire Safe Council there, and so that day we recruited volunteers. We had the Boy Scout troops come out, and we were basically just cleaning up debris from previous fires that they had in the community. And we set up with Davy Tree for wood chippers. So the Boy Scouts weren't doing that, but we just had them hauling debris for us.
Weren't chipping up Boy Scouts?
No, not at all.
It's good to know that. Yeah. So what's wonderful is you come with experience, and our volunteer programs can use some structure. Yeah. We do have a lot of kids and adults that love to volunteer for us. So tell us what you're going to be doing specifically for Fort Loudoun Lake Association.
Well, I guess I would love to, set up a structure base. I kind of already started that. And then for March specifically, we have 4 volunteer days coming up. The first 4 Saturdays of the month. We are collaborating with the Webb School of Knoxville, and we're recruiting high school students there so they can get 4 hours of direct community service, basically doing what we at the Fort Loudoun Lake Association.
Right, the difference between direct and indirect service hours, right?
Right, yep. So they will come out, the first ones are downtown, the first 2 Saturdays at First Creek, right at Volunteer Landing. And then at Third Creek, which is off of Nayland Drive by Tyson Park. So we're just working downtown, trying to clean up the creeks and clean the shoreline a little bit before the raising of the water in April. And then the last 2 Saturdays, the 16th and 23rd, we're going to focus out west at parks. There's the Concord Park, there's the Admiral Farragut Park, and then the Carl Cohen.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So I'm still learning, the different areas, but I'm ready to get out there and, get the community engaged a little bit. So
yeah, and we're so happy to have you on board and to really organize these volunteer pickup days. And do you remember who we have for a sponsor who's going to be?
Huge sponsor is actually Earth Fair, so, that's a great help there.
Yeah, they bring in all the food and the beverages for the volunteers, which is so nice for them to do. And they are kind of a conservation type grocery store also. Yeah. And we have other things in April?
Yep. I guess the first weekend of April, April 6th, we have the huge river rescue going on.
Right. Who's that with?
It's with the Imes Nature Center.
Right.
So there's 40 different locations that we'll be, helping with. We'll be running a boat out on the lake, hauling people and trash. So
right.
And it's their 24th, annual
river rescue. Wow, that's good to know.
Yeah, they had over 1,000 volunteers last year, so we'll get excited about that.
Yeah, and the next weekend I believe is the Louisville.
Yes, out
cleanup.
in Blount County. We'll be collaborating with Keep Blount Beautiful, so we're excited about that. You know,
Yeah.
try to focus on that area instead of right by Knoxville.
Right, and what's happening April 20th?
There is the raising of the water.
Yeah,
which
the
is-
big celebration.
Yep, right by the dam at Calhoun's. So, you know, that's
something for the audience to remember. Save the date. April 20th is the big Raising of the Water celebrations at Calhoun's out by Loudoun Dam. And there will be beverages and food, all that good food. And the music's going to be the Shoe Shakers, I believe. I know it's a real popular band out there. It's a great time to celebrate, you know, when the water is being raised by TVA back up to recreational levels. And our purpose of having all the cleanups in March and April is to clean up the shores and the lake, the debris across the trash and the booms and the creeks is what I was trying to say. So that when the water raises up, we don't just bombard the dam with a bunch of debris that's collected over the crazy up and down of our water that we've had.
I know, yeah, a lot of rainfall in January, so
And it's still kind of up.
Yeah.
We don't really know if they're going to put it down enough to pick up the trash. We surely hope so.
Hope so, yeah.
And then 27th, I believe, is a rain barrel workshop.
Oh, yep. I think that's at Imes Nature Center.
Also, yeah. That's the Water Quality Forum, which is a bunch of people that have to do with water here and conservation and cleanup in Knoxville. They get together and talk about how we can really work together in cleaning up. So there's a lot of collaboration. And I had an MBA professor tell me that the bigger a volunteer organization is within a nonprofit organization, it affects the donations, which is what we thrive on. Can you tell the audience why do you think that is?
I think, you know, people like to see what their money is like helping,
Right,
you know,
right.
go for a good cause. So when they see, you know, volunteers out there and, you know, the donations will help like sponsor those kind of events. So once they know that, oh, hey, my money is going for something good, like it's actually working. So they like to see that.
Especially young kids as volunteers. What do they do when they go home?
Yep, they, you know, tell about their experience to their parents or their younger brothers and sisters, so it encourages them.
Yeah, and even kids get to become great nags when they're telling mom and dad, don't do that.
Right.
You should see what it looks like in the river. Ah!
Yep.
Right? And we have adults. We do have adults, not just for children, but we have a lot of adult volunteer programs. And I think that's close to it for right now. We have more volunteer programs.
I think
But
so.
the best way to find out about what we're doing is to go to our website, FLLAKE.org. It's on the back here, that way. And look at the volunteer tab. And actually, when you push a little button that says Get Involved, which is right up there too, that way, that way, it goes to a volunteer page. And please fill out the volunteer page, because on it you get to choose if you want to do direct hours, if you want to go out and clean up the lake and do the things that we do on a daily basis, or if you want to help us out in the office. We can use all kinds of help. And that's a great way to get involved with Fort Loudoun Lake Association and cleaning up your lake is volunteering and donating. And volunteers tend to spread the word. And we like to think of ourselves as a community service builder. And it feels good when you're doing something that helps out your environment. Yeah? You find that's why you're doing this too?
That's why I'm here. Make
right.
a little difference.
Yeah, make a lot of difference. So go to our website and volunteer or donate or help us out in the best way you can. And or give us a call. Give us a call and let us know you're out there. And I think that's about it for this show. Yeah? All right, well, let me say thank you, Greta. Thank you so much for joining our organization and
happy to help.
and running all the volunteer programs. And remember, folks, that we do 3 things. REM, just like the band. We remove trash and debris daily, we educate on pollution prevention, and we monitor the stream health and also stormwater monitoring. 2 ways you can help out is donate at flake.org or volunteer. Thank you so much and see you next time.